In this episode, we're going to have an end of season review and a transfer special. I'm also going to be on the lookout to see if there's a club that could well be suited to what my ambitions truly are in this series. So by the end of the episode, I don't know whether we're still going to be at Colchester. So we somehow managed to miss the end of season review, but not sure how, but we'll do our own version of it anyway. If we have a look up here, we've been hit with a tax bill of £190,000. We've passed all the financial fair play stuff and whatever else. In terms of our commercial summary, we're up on everything. Whether it's sponsorship, broadcast revenues, corporate hospitality, the whole lot, we're up on all of it. Shirt sales, reasonable amount. Collins, Fonkeo, Morgan, Job and Pisano are among our top shirt sales. Pisano might be going, but we'll get to that shortly. If we continue to just scroll up, I'll tell you about this guy in a moment. We've got the World Cup squads that have been announced. Some of our players are away on international duty. Calum is away at the moment. There you go. He's been signed up by Australia. That's all about it. So we've received 4.82 million in solidarity payments. That's amazing because it now means from a finance perspective, we've got plenty of money in the bank now. I am a bit concerned about this because we have a transfer budget of £330,000. Our wage budget is £145,000, which basically means we've got hardly anything to spend wage-wise. We have to move out before we get money back in, basically. There are going to be players leaving. Billy G has been given an automatic 1-year extension because we avoided relegation. To be honest, I was umming and ahhing about whether to get rid of him or not, but I think that I was coming around to the idea of maybe keeping him because he's a useful utility player, can play in centre of defence, defensive midfield, or even the centre of midfield. You may also have noticed, by the way, that I've gone back to the original Football Manager default skin. One of the reasons for that is this whole favoured personnel thing. I think it's more on the Aveley side of things, where I'm only favoured personnel on there, that I just kind of come to the conclusion that it's glitched. We're favoured personnel here as well, but on the Aveley one, we are actually an icon according to this one, which does feel a little bit more realistic. So yeah, I just decided to go back to. I've also zoomed the screen size in more. So we was at 100% before, we're at 125% now. Done that in the hope that it means you can see what's on screen a lot better. So yeah, let's carry on with this failed end of season review. If we actually have a look at our home screen, you can see that Akeem Thomas is our top scorer with 15 goals this season. Brooklyn Fonkeo was our highest average rating with 7.18. Tom Pearce, most assists with 15. Enrique Sarr, best pass completion rate of 94%. Brooklyn Fonkeo had the most player of the match awards with 5. Most yellow cards was Calum, and Jay Mingy and Josh Smith were in the Naughty Boys Club for the most red cards. In terms of team stats, goals scored, we were the 6th best in the league. Goals conceded, we were 12th best. We were the 6th worst for yellow cards, the 4th worst for red cards. Our average attendance is the worst in the league. It's 8,723. which is about 1,400 short of our actual capacity. So, yeah, I think that's really all there is to bring you up to speed on. If we then go to the transfers and have a look at the correct screen, players that are coming in. So we've got a few youngsters that are going to be joining us on the 11th of June. And this guy here, he's not one of the youngsters. He's just a player that we bought for £60,000, as you can see there. Frederick Opgaard. He's going to be a new first choice left back, replacing Tom Pearce. Now, Tom Pearce is out of contract at the end of this season. I'm debating whether or not I keep him around as backup, because he had a really good season for us last season. He is 32 years old. Frederick is 27. As you can see, he is an improvement. He's 3.5 stars, not 3 stars. He's just a better all-round player as well. So he'll be joining us. Then we've got Nia Anderson, who can play anywhere along the back. 2-star current ability. Excuse me. 2-star current ability. 6'5". We could have him as a centre back, a 6'5" centre back. I do like the sound of that. But he can also play on the right and on the left. He could be a pretty useful backup player for us. He could also be a player that we keep in the under 21s and potentially sell on for a bit of a profit. Josh Jones is coming in as well. He was previously of Manchester City. Can play in the centre of midfield. He thinks he can be a striker, but I don't think he can. But certainly he might be able to be a bit of a box-to-box midfielder for us in the centre of that midfield. We are looking for a box-to-box midfielder. He's not going to be first choice. Again, falls into the category of someone that could provide backup, but may also end up being someone we sell on for profit. Then David Linus from Manchester United can play out on the right or the left. He's not fussed on either. Again, falls into the category of someone we may end up moving on for a profit. It wasn't a great free transfer when the Premier League clubs released their youngsters. Weren't a great intake, but we have the possibilities there. If we have a look at a dev centre, we've got a below average under 21s. We've got a strong under 18s, but a below average under 21s. I will take a look at some of these, but even if you look at, say, Lee Crompton, who's 2-star current ability, with 3.5, 2.5 star potential, doesn't jump out as someone that is going to be part of their first team. If we have a look at the squad, the players still in the squad are the players that are going to be staying. Now, I have still got Tom Pearce here as left back. I can probably move him down onto the bench. He'll be a backup player. We have, of course, got Ed Turns that can provide support right, left and centre. I'm not sure if we need to keep Tom Pearce around. We might do. Will Armitage will still be here as well, along with Cathal Heffernan. But all of those below him, they will all be leaving this summer. I'm probably not going to keep Manuel Pisano, even though we haven't got a backup striker to Akeem Thomas yet. But other than that, I'm looking at the box-to-box midfield role does need an improvement. Even Vasic, although he's good, is he really going to get that good? I'm debatable. And then I'm just looking at whoever we can sign. Do they improve us anyway? If they improve us somewhere, we'll bring them in. Absolutely, we will. Aaron Collins, he's knocking on. He's 33 years old. This year will be his final year with us, so he may end up moving out of the first team into the backup area. Ryan Hedges is 34 years old. We're getting a bit of an old squad, and I think we might need to just refresh it with some younger players. So let's see how it goes. I have also been looking at jobs, because I've come to the conclusion now that we're probably not going to get a team approach us, so we probably need to start approaching them. I mean, Valencia, they could be an option. 55,000 stadium. Could we challenge in Spain and maybe win La Liga out there? Who knows? Looking at the English teams, Crystal Palace and Hull are available. I have looked at Crystal Palace. I will be honest. I have looked at them and thought, do you know what? That's not a bad shout. It's they've got a decent stadium, 25,000. They're a bigger club than what Colchester are, and I don't know. Do I apply for it? Do I go for Crystal Palace, or do I just let that go and see what else might come up in this window? There is obviously Parthenope that's available. I don't think I'm at that level. Parma are available. In Ligue 1, we've got Lille, Reims, Montpellier. Not really interested in that one. And obviously I'm not interested in League 1 or League 2. But I am going to be keeping my eye out for another job, and hopefully something comes up, because this has basically confirmed it for me that I don't think we can do any better at Colchester with budgets like this. But who knows? Right, I'm going to start trying to do some wheeling and dealing, and I'll bring you back when I've got some more news. Okay, so I applied for the Crystal Palace job. They've come back and said I've been unsuccessful. The Crystal Palace board have informed you that your application to fill the vacant manager's role cannot be taken further, as the Crystal Palace board have been unable to reach a compensation agreement with your current employers. They are prepared to put the process on hold for a short period of time, should you be able to find a different manner of departing, but will eventually be forced to consider their options otherwise. You may be able to persuade your current board to reduce their compensation demands in order for you to be considered for the role. Now, that tells me one of two things. I can click down here, request board reduce compensation demands, or I could resign, or I could just carry on as Colchester manager. Now, I've got a decision to make because I don't particularly want to get sacked because I've not even had the interview yet. So what I don't want to do is resign or get sacked and then they turn around and tell me that I've been unsuccessful anyway. So yeah, I've got a bit of a decision to make. Okay, so we're going to have a look and see. We're going to click this button here, request board. You probably can't see it behind my beautiful face, but request board reduce compensation demands. Welcome, what would you like to discuss today? If I must stay, can we at least agree on some improvement? No, I don't want to say that. I would like to be allowed to join Crystal Palace as their manager, but they can't afford the compensation fee. Please accept a lower fee so that I may leave. I mean, if they can't accept my fee, if I click this, I've got a feeling that Rory's going to sack me. Let's click it. Let's see what's going to happen. We'd rather you just concentrate on finishing the job you started here. Oh. If you won't let me leave, I'll have no choice but to resign and the club will get no compensation. Oh no, I can't do that. Surely I can't do that. Am I about to threaten Colchester? I mean, it is true. Oh my God, this is too much of a decision. Because if I do that, then I'm out of a job and I'm completely at the whim of Crystal Palace. I think I'm going to do it because I want to leave. We're reluctant to see you go, but it's clear you want to leave. If Crystal Palace offer you a job, we won't stand in your way. We believe it's important to stay on good terms with you, so hopefully we can continue to work together to build a positive future for this club. Wow, okay, that's gone better than I thought it was going to. The board have agreed to reduce the compensation required for you to leave the club. Oh, wow. Let's just click through those. I mean, I don't really need to. What's the recruitment things? Because we have still got to assume that we're going to be Colchester manager anyway. So I've received my application and will respond in the near future. If they turn around and don't even interview me now, I'm not going to be happy. I would like to think that am I favourite for the job? Let's have a look over there. Job centre, Crystal Palace. No, Jack Ross is a favourite for that job. He's also the favourite for the whole job as well. He's odds-on favourite for that job. Okay, right. Let's see if I get an interview and I'll bring you back then. We've been offered a job interview. Following your application for the Crystal Palace job, the board have invited you to attend an interview with them to discuss the vacancy. The board are very impressed with your fantastic performance at Colchester, which is why we have identified you as one of their top candidates. One of the reasons the board have decided to offer you an interview is because they feel you would be an acceptable fit for the club's realistic vision for the future. The interview will give you the opportunity to discuss your suitability for the role and allow us to discuss our ambitions and plans with you in more detail. Let's attend the interview. The board are pleased that you have taken the time to attend today. There are a few questions we would like to ask to see if you are the manager we want to take the club forward. Right, let's get into it. Your managerial experience lacks variety. In our opinion, your managerial experience lacks variety in our opinion. Can you tell me why you've only worked with a small selection of teams? I mean, I've only been doing the job 9 years. I've shown loyalty to every club. There you go. Why do you want to leave your current job after doing so much good work there? So I can convince and say it's time for me to take the next step, and hopefully that can be here. I feel I've taken them as far as I can and that all parties would be best served by a change of scenery. I believe I'm in the position to take the positive momentum I've built up recently and use it to hit the ground running here. Then you can ask for a chance. I've been seeking a new challenge for a while now and this opportunity is very appealing. Or disagree. Well, I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to ask for a chance. I think I'm just going to say it's time for me to take the next step and hopefully that can be here. Why are you thinking of making what some people would describe a sideways move in management? See, I don't think it is a sideways move. I think I've got more chance of promotion with Crystal Palace than I have with Colchester. I've managed clubs of this size before and it's not a big adjustment for me to make. There aren't many differences between the two teams. I have no concerns about making such a move. It's all a matter of perception, really. I think I'm just going to go with the first one. I've managed clubs of this size before, and it's not a big adjustment for me to make. I'm convincing him. That's what I'm doing. Are you willing to assure us that you do a better job of meeting expectations than your potential predecessor? Well, of course I am. I mean, I can convince, say, my record speaks for itself, which personally I think is true. I can promise by saying I'm confident of achieving every target set for me if I get the job. I mean, that kind of feels like I set myself up. I'm going to say my record speaks for itself because it does. We need a manager who can work with limited resources. Is that you? Again, look at the experience I've already got. Look at what I'm doing now. I know I'll be able to look after the club's finances if given the job. I guess I'm in for a challenge then. I'm looking forward to it. If we all just focus on playing football, everything else will... No, we'll go for the first one. Will we work with a director of football? Yep. We understand the importance of having the right backroom team in place when a manager moves to a new club. So we are willing to allow you to request any changes you would like to make to our current backroom team, as well as the opportunity to request any staff members you want to bring with you from your current club. What sort of budget would you be looking for to make these changes? I mean, I don't think I'm really on amazing terms with any of my staff. You know, it's not like we all go to Taco Bell afterwards for dinner or anything. I'd like to suggest a possibility. No, I don't wish to propose any changes. That'll do. Right, so our long-term vision outlines the next few years for the club. You will be tasked with bringing this to life if you get the job. Did you have any thoughts or ideas regarding it? So they want me to work within the wage budget. Fine. Grow the club's reputation. Fine. Strive to make progress on and off the pitch. Maximum 1 year contract for players over the age of 34. Maximum 2 year contracts for players over the age of 32. The 5 year plan, end of next season, win promotion to the Premier Division. That's what I want. A team that has some ambition. You know, Colchester is just going to be, let's just attempt to avoid relegation. And then we attempt to remain in the Premier Division, then remain in the Premier Division, then continue remaining in the Premier Division. So at least they have got a bit of a trajectory about them. I think it's an exciting vision and shows that the club has the right level of ambition. That's what I'm going with. We're not expecting anything of you this season. We'll discuss next season's objectives at a later date. Not about this season because it's not ticked over into next season. That's fine. What's next? Do you have anything for us to consider should we decide to hire you? Nope. That's all the questions we have for you today. We would like to thank you for attending this interview, and we will be in touch once we've decided upon a new manager for the club. And we will leave the meeting. So there we go, folks. We've had an interview for Crystal Palace. We've got our board to agree to a lower compensation payment. Now we're just waiting to see what Palace say. Crystal Palace are approaching me. The board also want to discuss my future. I'm not going to be attending this meeting. I'm not even going to be clicking any of these buttons. Attend meeting or refuse to attend. If we just get all them items out of our inbox. I mean, they're offering 13.25k on my contract, my current contract. Well, that's a pay rise of 10 grand a week. I mean, a pay rise of 10 grand a week. That is huge. We don't have any transfer budget, but we do have 1.6 million in the wage budget. I do also note, I have looked at the Crystal Palace squad already, and we'll go there now before we look at anything. And they have a lot of old players. They really do. I mean, if you look at this, scroll all the way down, and they have 16 players in their first team squad that are over the 30 years and over. That's 16 players out of a first team squad of 34. I mean, that is a huge squad. They also do have Mark Vaughan and Kevin Nichols that we had on loan. I think he was at Aveley. Might be, I can't remember which club it was, but it was one of them. They don't have much in their first team, but if we have a look at that's our dev centre, not their one. They do have some under 21 squad, a lot of players on loan at the moment. They have players in their under 18s. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a challenge, this one, because like I say, they've got 25,000 seat stadium, so we'll get more money coming in with Palace than what we do at Colchester. And I think I'm going to take this job. I applied for it. It'd be mad not to take it now. Hopefully we might get given some transfer budget. At the moment we don't have any. But this could be, we look at what we've got, we concentrate on getting in the Premier League this season, and then we can start a proper rebuilding process going forward. We're replacing Eddie Howe. Right, let's start the negotiations. Job must be manager. Well, yeah, I'm a manager. So it's immediate. It's a 2-year contract. Can we get him to go to 14,000? I think we're going to try and reduce this to 50% and lock. No, I'm not locking anything in. Take that off. Right, let's suggest 14k, see what they go with. They really want this to be 90%. Do you know what? I think if we move on from Crystal Palace, then I think the next place we go to is a big club that will be able to afford this. Can we go for 14.5? Oh my God, they've accepted it. So we're going from £3,800 a week to £14,500 a week. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be the next Crystal Palace manager, and that will be the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like on the video. Keep an eye out for a new thumbnail. It will be Club 3 Crystal Palace episode 1. And yeah, it's goodbye Colchester, and it's on to the next step in my career. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.